Welcome back to Net Assassin. So we're going to be showing you today how to go about adding syslog capabilities to DNS queries that are made against the DNS Forwarder on PfSense. In addition, we're going to enhance the logging that's going to be sent over to syslog to include the requesting IP address from the local interface. So in other words, if you need to ever go and look up which FQDNs were looked up by what internal IP or vice versa, you can now do that after making these changes. That latter part actually isn't currently in the documentation as of this video, but thanks to some support, we were able to figure out what that flag was and how to pass it over to DNSQ. So again, we're going to be using the DNS Forwarder, so we're going to pop over to Services and then go down to DNS Forwarder. And we, of course, have our forwarder enabled. We're just making it listen on the LAN interface currently for this demonstration. And the next thing you want to do is pop over and open up this advanced text dialog box. And once in here, we're going to enter the first command or the variable that we're going to pass that will actually enable logging to begin with, which is, of course, log queries. And that is actually in the documentation for PfSense. This is fantastic because at this point, if we were to hit save, this would actually now start generating DNS request logs. But we want a little bit more than that. What this will basically do at this point is just simply report a log that will come back and tell you if the requested domain name, in other words, the FQDN, was currently in cache or if it needed a zone transfer to get it, which is, pretty informative. But what we really want is who asked for that DNS name. This might be important if you're trying to track down which machine perhaps on your network has malware on it. So in this case, we have to add and pass along the syntax in this format, equals quote extra quote. And you can see some of this in the DNSQ man pages, but of course the syntax is a little bit different. By doing it this way, it actually passes properly from the config file of PfSense into the daemon itself. And we can hit save, and at this point all of our saves have gone through, and that will now actually be going. The next thing you're going to want to do, of course, is make sure that you're syslogging to begin with. So in this case, we're going to pop over to status, and then we're going to go to system logs, and then over to our settings. And once we're here, of course, this is where you would set up your syslog server information. So first you'd of course want to turn it on, provide the IP address and port number of your syslog server or servers. You can have up to 3. And then what you want to stream. Normally most of us will stream just firewall events, but you now also want system events, or if you're like me and your syslog server is running really well, just go ahead and say everything. It'll parse it all in and later you can filter it. To give you an example of what the output will look like, we'll pop over here. This is some output from my Kibana 4 system. I'm running an elk stack as my syslog server. And what you will see is that on January 15th, there was a request that was made. The host in this particular case is my actual DNS server or the firewall that answered this, the forwarder. And then the message that pops back, the person was looking for that particular URL, and this was the IP address of the internal workstation that requested it. This entire message section, and actually this entire thing, was just added by the work that we did. We hope this helps you, and if you found this useful, please subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends. Have a good one.